Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the first ever From the Top Rope broadcast on television. I'm your host, Chris Soriano, and this is From the Top Rope. From the Top Rope, for those of you who are loyal fans, as you know, and those of you who don't know, was a radio show on WSIA radio originating from CSI. We did over 50 shows there, but you know what? I got old, I graduated, and I had to do things that graduates do. You got to get out of college. You can't stay there forever. So we brought the show to a great facility, world-class facility here at CTV in Staten Island. I thank the CTV crew for letting us do this and kind of getting the touches out and start things off. Kenny, you are the man behind there working the stuff. Format of the show. Let me explain this real quick. It will be short and simple, and I'll explain the format of the show. Format of the show on a normal basis, hopefully when we start getting to bigger shows, more shows down the line. We hope to do live. We hope to do phone calls. We will have guests. Obviously, the first show today, we'll just go plain and simple. We have a lot to talk about. The format of the show is wrestling. We love pro wrestling. You watching this love pro wrestling, WWE, independent wrestling, classic wrestling. We love it, and we're going to talk about it. You can follow us on social media, From the Top Rope CTV on Twitter, like us on Facebook, From the Top Rope, email From the Top Rope at hotmail.com. So that's the format of the show. That's what it's going to be. To start off, it's a 30-minute wrestling talk show, and we're just going to have fun talking about the sport we love, and you love as well, pro wrestling. And what a great way to start off From the Top Rope here at CTV than a WrestleMania 31 Fallout show. That's right, folks. Last night, this show is being taped on Monday, and WrestleMania 31 was last night, and what a show it was. You know, a lot of people were talking about, is this going to be a horrible WrestleMania? The build-up is horrible. I'm not going to lie. The build-up was bad. It was brutal. It was ugly. But the WWE, again, gets us into that realm of we doubt them, and then they come back and they shoot a 3 from out of nowhere, and they surprise us and they give us wonders. Last night, we saw a new World Heavyweight Champion crowned. Last night, we saw the Monday Night Wars officially end, WCW being beaten by WWE in that iconic Triple H and Sting clash. We saw The Undertaker rise from the dead. We saw a new U.S. and Intercontinental Champion crown, and hopefully the prestige of those belts are back. Let's get it started with the first match on the actual WrestleMania card. Not going to get into the Battle Royal and the tag team match. While I do respect Cesaro and Kid, it didn't tickle my fancy, if you will, and that was something that we're just not going to get into. Battle Royal, obviously, Big Show won. Listen, Vince likes his guys big. I don't know. Big Show finally gets a WrestleMania moment. He's kind of lost on that stage. He wins a Battle Royal. He is a giant, so I guess it's apropos. And Tyson Kidd and Cesaro win and retain their WWE Tag Team titles. First match to start the card was the Intercontinental title match, the ladder match. And obviously we know the spot in this match that we'll be talking about for years is the Luke Harper powerbomb of Dean Ambrose through a ladder. Not onto a ladder, folks, but through a ladder. It was unbelievable. It was amazing. And again, WWE pulling out the spots and pulling out something from underneath within to put on a great wrestling clinic and a show in the ladder match. Ziggler and Bryan, I thought it was appropriate that those two were the final two battling for the gold. Ziggler falls off. Bryan gets a second WrestleMania moment. It's not his second World Championship run, but it's an Intercontinental title match, and it's an Intercontinental title win. And for Daniel Bryan, we talked about it on our WrestleMania preview show on the Soriano Network on YouTube, which you can subscribe to. We talked about, and I gave my predictions that Daniel Bryan I thought was going to win because the fans still love him. He has a following, and let's give him the runner-up, the Miss America runner-up, if you will, to the world title. And back in the day, for you smart wrestling fans, it was the world title. That was the main guy. After that, the number one contender normally was the man who had the Intercontinental title. Will they bring prestige back to this belt? I don't know. Will they bring prestige back to the U.S. belt? I don't know. But Daniel Bryan winning I thought was appropriate. They had to do that. They got the crowd in a frenzy, and it was a great way to start. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. I thought this was the most overlooked match going into WrestleMania, and I still think it's the most overlooked match coming out of WrestleMania. I thought this was the best technical wrestling match on the card last night at Levi's Stadium. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins showed you that they are the two most gifted professional wrestlers in the world today. They are two of the best. And you saw Orton, who has a little bit of experience, and Rollins, who does have experience in the indies, but he's still new to the whole WWE scene. And they put on a show last night. And that RKO was beautiful. It was tremendous. J&J Security, again, the best comedy sideshow act in wrestling since Pat Patterson and Jerry Briscoe, folks. But it was entertaining. It was a wrestling match. It was a technical wrestling match. And Orton and Rollins did not disappoint. I think that was technically the best wrestling match of the night. Orton and Rollins. Sting and Triple H. You know, if you follow me on social media, you know I'm a big Sting fan. You know, I brought to the studio today, folks, even in a losing effort, folks, a Steve Borden Sting shirt that I have. I'm not mincing any words. I'm not mixing any words. Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time. However, Triple H is also the biggest barrier of all time. No, I digress. Triple H and Sting last night put on a nostalgic classic. I never thought, watching WCW growing up as a kid, that I would see Sting deliver the Stinger Splash at the granddaddy of them all. I'm not talking about Starrcade. You know, I was mad. I was upset. I still am a little bit bitter that Sting lost last night. You know, we waited 14 years for Sting to have his first wrestling match in the WWE, and it's in a losing effort, and it's in a losing effort not to a new guy, an up-and-coming star. It's to a guy that is well documented. He does not like a lot of those guys from WCW, and that's Triple H. Was it a bury? You can look at it that way. I look at it as this. While I'm upset that Sting lost, and quite frankly, I'm not going to mix words again. I think it's BS that Sting lost. But looking at it from a positive standpoint, you never thought you'd see this. You never thought you'd see Steve Borden in a WWE ring and Sting delivering the Scorpion Death Drop, getting the Stinger Splash, the Scorpion Death Lock at WrestleMania, getting that crowd into a frenzy, and the You Still Got a Chance. Sting delivered last night. And keep in mind, folks, Sting is 56 years of age. 56. Not 26, not 36. Hell, he's not even 49. He's 56 years old. I thought for a 56-year-old dude, Sting did pretty well last night. Then you had the nostalgia of the century. You really, literally, folks, had the Monday Night Wars coming together and clashing with D-Generation X, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, X-Pac, face-to-face and in a brawl on the entranceway with Hulk Hogan, or Hollywood Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, the NWO. I never thought in my wildest dreams also I'd see NWO versus DX when I was watching Nitro and Raw during the Monday Night Wars. I never thought I'd see HBK, Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music Sting in the face. It happened. We saw it last night. We saw many firsts. Now, Triple H did beat him. My only positive coming out of this, and you didn't beat him cleanly, is just that. He did not beat him cleanly. It wasn't like Triple H buried him after one pedigree in the middle of the ring like he did to Booker T at WrestleMania 19. It wasn't even a fair fight. Stinger went for the second Stinger Splash. It bit Sting in the face. Triple H hits him with the sledgehammer, and that's it. But I thought even, and I know the internet wrestling community is going crazy with Triple H burying Sting, and I'm not happy that Sting lost either. I'm a Sting fan. As you can see, I got the shirt. I'm Team Crow. I'm Team Sting. But I thought if Sting was going to lose, this was the proper way to lose. A lot of run-ins, nostalgic run-ins, Monday Night Wars clashing, and Sting also not losing cleanly. Now, what does the handshake mean at the end of the match? I don't know. Maybe Triple H respects Sting more. Sure didn't look that way after his segment later in the night with Rock and a certain other star. from the UFC. But we'll get into that later. But it's very curious to see what that handshake was all about. Have we seen Sting for the final time in a WWE ring? Was that Sting's first and only WrestleMania match? Are we getting Sting and Taker next year at 32 in front of 100,000 fans in Jerry World? I don't know. But you know what? The WWE kept us guessing again. And that's what makes a compelling product on television. It keeps you guessing. What's going to happen next? Gee, you know what? I don't know. But I got to turn on the television to find out. That's how you make money. So Sting and Triple H I thought was good. The Bellas and AJ Lee and Paige, it was a standard Divas match. You knew you weren't going to get a lot of that. I thought it was a couple of minutes longer than I thought it would be. And AJ and Paige surprisingly won. I thought the WWE's version of the Kardashians were going to pull one out. They weren't going to lose, but they did. And nothing really to analyze there. It was a standard wrestling match, a standard Divas wrestling match, and there really was not much to talk about. Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. Now, we have sat here, folks, and said Bray Wyatt is an up-and-coming star, which he is. Bray Wyatt needs to take that next step. Well, Bray Wyatt, folks, is now 0-2 in WrestleMania. What does this mean for this man's character? The only thing is, what I think about Bray Wyatt, yes, he's 0-2 at WrestleMania. Look who they've paired him up against. John Cena last year, easily the face of the company for the last 10 years. This year, The Undertaker. So they hold Wyatt in high regard. Not like he's going out there losing to Stardust and Zack Ryder in his last 2 WrestleManias. He's lost to some stiff competition and some legends and future Hall of Famers. So I think the WWE still holds Bray in high regard. But when is Bray going to win at WrestleMania? And coming in saying, I'm the new face of fear, you're not. Losing to The Undertaker and doing the spider walk and looking scared doing it, you're not the face of fear no more, buddy. It's still The Undertaker. The Undertaker came back, and for a man that was 50, and we talked about just moments ago, Sting being 56, Undertaker is 6 years younger than Sting, and I thought Taker looked worse as the match went on than Sting. He came out, and I said, Taker doesn't look that bad. As the match went on, you could see it was taking a toll on him. He was breathing heavy. He was coughing. But The Undertaker showed you what he has done for years and years and years and years and years. And that's grind it out for the fans, especially at the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. And I think after watching Taker put on quite the performance last night, and people are burying him, listen, you had a man in the ring last night that was 50 years old versus a man that prior to the match, hours before, sprained his ankle, injured himself in preparation for that match. So you had two guys not at 100% in my opinion. I think for the circumstances that Wyatt and Taker were with, health reasons, they put on a clinic. They put on an absolute clinic. I don't know how the IWC can sit here and say how Undertaker didn't deliver, Wyatt didn't deliver. Wyatt was on a bum ankle, and Taker's 50 years old. And we know Taker's not in the best of health. And they went out there and they put on a show. Because that's what they do. So I had no problem with that match. Cena and Rusev. This match was not nearly as good as their Fastlane match. And I'll say it. Me and my girlfriend were at WWE Live at Madison Square Garden February 28th. And not nearly was this match as good as the match they had at the Garden that night with no TV cameras. It was an amazing clinic that they did. I think the ending was good. Last couple minutes was good. But overall, the match was not that exciting. I thought the build-up was great. I thought the video packages were great. I thought Rusev coming out in a freaking tank, folks, and Cena coming out. You saw all the presidents in the montage saying America is this great country. It really built this Russia versus U.S., this U.S. versus a foreign country, much like they did in 1991 with Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter. So I thought they booked that perfectly, they wrote that perfectly, and that was amazing. Now, the main event of the evening. Going into this match, I didn't know what to expect. I picked Roman Reigns to win. And I'm like, well, you know what? Brock just re-signed Are they going to have Brock re-sign and then lose the belt to Roman Reigns? Plus, Roman Reigns was not getting a good fan reaction on Monday night. They were in California on Raw from the Staples Center. So, I don't know what's going to happen. And we didn't really expect much from that match. What you saw, folks, from Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31 was a fight. It was a prize fight, and it was a war. And for those of you people out there, you internet wrestling community people, you IWC people that rip on Roman Reigns and are still going to boo on Roman Reigns earned my respect. And I was not a Roman Reigns hater going into WrestleMania, but he gained even more of my respect. He took a beating last night from Brock Lesnar, an absolute beating. And he kept coming back for more. He was smiling at Brock. He took over 10 suplexes in that match. Roman Reigns busted Brock Lesnar up about 30 seconds into the match. And we know wrestling's fake. It's predetermined. They practice the moves. They choreograph the moves. Okay, you can't tell me sometimes in that match, at some points during those matches, Lesnar and Reigns, that it didn't look real. Because it was real. You mean tell me that those elbows to the face were not real? I think Brock was pissed at Roman. I think Roman was pissed at Brock. I think, obviously, they respect each other, and they had no problem after the match. But they were ticking each other off, and they were bringing the best out of each other. I thought Roman Reigns brought the best out of Brock last night. I thought Brock brought the best out of Roman last night. I thought the two of them worked really well. Hopefully, we have a Reigns-Lesnar match in the future, maybe for the #1 contendership for the world title. I don't know. But I can tell you this, folks. It was a war last night. What you saw was not a wrestling match. Best technical wrestling match of the night, Orton and Rollins. Best nostalgic crowd reaction match of the night, Sting and Triple H. Best fight, best brawl, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Now, the ending was brilliant. And we have killed the WWE creative. We've killed them. We have killed them so much about how they're stupid, they can't write anything, they don't know what they're doing booking. They were geniuses last night. They could not have booked this any better. Seth Rollins coming in during the match as Brock and Roman are beating the hell out of each other. Seth comes down the ramp, cashes in, becomes a triple threat match. I thought that was brilliant. You know, over the years, we've seen the cash in on the night after WrestleMania on Raw. Me personally, I think it's been overdone. I think you wait a couple years before you do that again. But cashing in during the match at WrestleMania, during the main event at WrestleMania, I thought was nothing but sheer brilliance. And the WWE creative team and Vince, whoever they were, they wrote that perfect. They could not have wrote anything better last night. They booked it perfectly. Now, people saying it was a last-minute decision, Reigns was going to win, Rollins was going to cash in tonight on Raw. Whatever it is, and if that's the case, if they were going to do that, then the WWE made the right decision in not doing that. I said it again. I think it's overplayed when you do that constantly. You have someone cashing in the night after Mania on Raw. It's been done before. It's been done. It's not new. It's not original. So I think Rollins, the heel, and not even a face, the heel, cashing in at Mania, becoming the new world champion, it showed you that the WWE creative team, they got some balls. They have some guts, and they did a really good job booking that. And I think also it solidified Seth Rollins as the top superstar, the top heel, not only in WWE, but in wrestling. The future is bright for Seth Rollins. The future is bright for the WWE. And I thought it solidified their future last night, Seth Rollins cashing in on, well, not Brock Lesnar, on Roman Reigns, pinning him, and it was just unbelievable. And also Suplex City, you know what, got trending. I'm not going to say that over the air here on CTV. I don't want to get in trouble with my first show, but Suplex City well, you know if you were watching, it was trending last night, and that will probably be on a lot of vines on social media. So that's the breakdown of the show. The winners and the losers of WrestleMania 31. The winners has to be the fans. No question has to be the fans. Levi Stadium was electric last night, and I've watched a lot of pay-per-views over the years, and especially the last couple of months on the WWE Network, and the crowd has been dead. I mean, let's look at that TLC crowd from Ohio. They were horrible. They were in Columbus. They were terrible. They weren't into that match. Wyatt and Ambrose were killing each other, and there was no crowd reaction. It was appreciative. You had over 76,000 packed in that place. It was unbelievable, and the fans were huge winners in my book last night. They were amazing. Those were wrestling fans last night. They were passionate, and they were amazing. So that's one winner. We have 4 winners, 4 losers. The entrances. I thought the entrances were brilliant. People didn't like Triple H's thing. I thought it was okay. People thought it was cheesy. Was it cheesy? Maybe it was. Arnold Schwarzenegger again. Go away, Arnold. Get to the chopper. But I thought that was good. I thought Sting's entrance was good. I thought Taker. When doesn't Taker just send chills down your spine with his entrance? Cena was brilliant with the build-up and the video package. Rusev coming out on a freaking tank again, I said it. I thought the entrances really were good last night. They were great, and that's winner number 2 in my book from WrestleMania. Winner number 3, Ronda Rousey, getting in there in that segment with The Rock and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and just throwing Triple H like a rag doll from the other side of the ring. I mean, this is a guy who is a 13-time world champion, and she just threw him in the ring like a rag doll, and then the armbar on Stephanie McMahon, making the billion-dollar princess cry on the grandest stage of them all. That was a WrestleMania moment last night, Ronda Rousey in the ring. Are we going to see a tag team match, Ronda Rousey and The Rock versus Stephanie McMahon and Triple H? WrestleMania 32, 100,000? We may see it. Or Rock and Triple H and maybe Ronda versus Stephanie. Only problem I have with that is if you're going to do that, Ronda's got to just annihilate Stephanie in about 2 minutes. There's no way you can make it believable where Stephanie McMahon gets any sort of offense unless she does a low blow. I mean, this is a woman who in real life just kicks people's butts, and in 14 seconds she won in her last fight. This woman is the real deal. It'll be tough to book that match, but I think no matter what, either a tag match or anything next year, Vince is cutting a blank check to Ronda Rousey, and she's on the WrestleMania 32 card next year in Jerry World. The main event, to me, was the biggest winner. And we didn't think that was going to happen. We thought we were going to be talking more about Sting and Triple H, which we are, the NWO DX thing. The ladder match was good, Taker. But the whole professional wrestling world is talking about that match, about the main event. And the way they did it, the way they just went in there and 2 gladiators just clashed with each other and beat the heck out of each other. They did such a good job. And the cash-in was brilliant. And we talked about, well, maybe Seth is going to cash in after the match. No, folks, he cashed in during the match. Never been done before. Oh my God, a new and original thing. What a concept. The WWE just hit a home run last night. Those are my 4 winners. Ronda Rousey, the fans, the entrances, and the main event. Now, we go to the losers of WrestleMania 31. Number 1 loser, you got to say Bray Wyatt. And again, I know he's lost to The Undertaker and John Cena, 2 formidable opponents, soon to be Hall of Famers. But the eater of the worlds, the new face of fear, and he's talking, building himself up, yet he's 0-2 at WrestleMania. That doesn't jive. And after a while, if Bray Wyatt starts just continuing to go, I'm the new face of fear, follow the buzzard, eater of the worlds, okay, you can win at Battleground. You can win at TLC. You could win a Taboo Tuesday if they brought that back. You can't win at WrestleMania. I'm sorry, but Bray Wyatt, to me, while you look at the positive standpoint, he's lost to Cena and Taker, and he put on a good show last night considering his ankle. He's still 0-2 at WrestleMania. And for his character and the way he talks, that's a problem. So that's one loser. Second loser, Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They built this thing up last year with Hogan pulling his best home shopping network, really pumping this thing up. It was good to see Cesaro win. They had it actually on the WrestleMania card. There was nothing this year for it. It was on the pre-show. And of all people, the Big Show wins it. The Big Show. I know it's an Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but the Big Show? Really? Especially being the Big Show and Mizdow with a final two. Have Mizdow go over. Come on. But I guess Vince, again, he likes his Giants. Big Show went over. Andre the Giant Battle Royal was a snooze fest. And I'm not going to lie, we had a party at my house hosting it. And we missed it. We just didn't pay any attention to it because it was that boring. No one was interested in it. So that was that. Musical performances. We've seen musical performances on wrestling pay-per-views. I don't have a problem with that. But last night, it was just they were in the wrong times. No one liked them. I thought they weren't good musical performances. So I think that's number 3 of the losers of WrestleMania 31. And the number 1 loser, folks, of WrestleMania 31 has to be the streaming. When I tell you that the Soriano compound almost went crazy when the stream kicked us out of watching WrestleMania as Bray Wyatt's walking down the ring. I was going nuts. I'm like, really? The Undertaker's going to come out and the feed stopped? I mean, this is WrestleMania. They have to do a better job of trying to fix this stream. You know you're going to have a record crowd watching it on the network with WrestleMania. You knew you were going to have buffering problems, and also it's got to be crystal clear. No grainy stuff, no glitching. This is WrestleMania, Vince. Fix this. Get to the bottom of this. Go to Stamford, Connecticut, and fix this, guys. Come on. The stream, that was bad. That was my number 1 loser of the night for WrestleMania 31. So break down the winners last night, the main event, the entrances, Ronda Rousey and the fans, the losers of WrestleMania 31, Bray Wyatt, Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the musical performances, and the stream. Buffering. By the numbers. Segment we like to call By the Numbers, and usually on this show, By the Numbers will be a breakdown of the television ratings or pay-per-view buy rates of the respective pay-per-view that we are filming our show and talking about. Last night, it was WrestleMania. By the numbers, WrestleMania 31 became the highest-grossing live event in its history. And it broke the attendance record for Levi's Stadium. WWE's annual pay-per-view last night is the biggest of them all. People flock. They come out of the woodwork to watch wrestling one time a year. And that's WrestleMania. It grossed $12.6 million at the gate, breaking the previous record of $12.3 million set at MetLife Stadium for 29, and 76,976. That is a new Levi Stadium record. The previous record at Levi Stadium was 70,999. That was the previous record. So they shattered that by a couple of thousands, 6,000 if you will, last night. The WWE did. So numbers, WWE could not be any hotter. They're doing a great job. And records will fall next year in Jerry World. 100,000. Can you imagine that, folks? 100,000 for a wrestling event. If you thought this year was good and the pops were great and the crowd was excited, wait till next year, WrestleMania 32. Fan reactions. So this is going to be a segment on the show as we go along and we do this. And again, we're in the early stages of the show. But usually we're going to be able to or hope to take phone calls in this great facility. But due to other circumstances today, we can't get this. So a couple of people that I have following us on Twitter, on Facebook, on the email, send some stuff. Jose, and this is questions, comments I'll read, questions I'll answer. Nash Hall reunion, I loved it. That's Jose in the Bronx. Lauren Sarasano, my reaction is amazing. I loved it. It was great. And it was something that I didn't like the ending, but overall, it was great. The moment when Ronda Rousey was epic, Undertaker looked much better than last year, and he made Bray Wyatt crumble, and the ending was like, OMG. Question, I will read this as we go off the air. Where does Roman Reigns go from here? Where does Roman Reigns go from here? You know, I thought he may have gained some fans last night. I thought he did a good job. I don't know where they're going to go. Maybe number one contenders match. I don't know. But I know one thing. The future is now with Seth Rollins, and the future is him. That'll do it for this show. Next time we'll be on the air, James Rude Boy Riley hopefully will be joining us from Warriors Wrestling. He's fighting Paul London April 11th at Fun Station. Until next time, we'll see you from the top rope.